Zimani's Drum, a Malawian Legend. Retold by Melinda Lilly and illustrated by Charles Reasoner. Zimani was blind, but he easily made his way along the trail, guided by the ba-dum ba-dum of his brother's drumming. He stepped with a beat, resting one hand on his own drum and the other on the shoulder of his brother Chikangwa. Together they moved as one up the hillside. The brothers had traveled this path many times before as they went to drum for the villagers around Lake Nyasa. Zimani didn't need his eyesight to find the way. His feet remembered where the soil of the path had worn to rock and where the loose dirt shifted beneath his sandals. He ran his hand along his drum strap and tapped the drum, mimicking his sandals slapping on the hard dirt. Thunka, thunka. Zimani, your drum helps me hear things I don't usually notice. Your sandals make a rhythm I didn't hear before. Chikangwa's fingers walked on his drum as his feet walked on the pebbles. Tip, tip. Brother, your drum tells me what you see, said Zimani, following the sound as he trod across the pebbles. When I hear your drum, I see through your eyes. The rainy season had ended, and the air was heavy with the sweet smells of the grasslands. Zimani recognized the dry scent of a fever tree, remembering the feel of its thorns and feather-like flowers. What color are the flowers on that fever tree? He asked. Yellow, replied Chikangwa. Zimani imagined yellow as the sound he made when he brushed his palms across the drum. Thwee! A hot breeze stirred the air, bringing with it a musty smell Zimani also recognized. He imagined the color gold as that smell. Chikangwa, I smell lion, he said. Baboons chattered as the boys hurried into the palm forest. Zimani stood still, breathing hard. I don't smell it now. Do you? No, said Chikangwa, glancing around. I think we've left lion behind, added Zimani hopefully. They walked quietly in the dappled shade. Tortoise is crossing the path, Chikangwa said. Mind your step, here's my arm. Tortoise moved slowly, as though he were a rock that had come reluctantly to life. Brother Tortoise, said Zimani, my legs are longer than yours. Would you like me to carry you? Yes, Brother Two Legs, said Tortoise. I'm out for a stroll, but my 4 legs aren't taking me very far. Zimani bent down and opened his net bag. Tortoise crawled inside, saying, Could you scratch my back? I've got a tickle. Zimani scratched Tortoise's shell. Chaka, chaka. After a few more steps, Chikangwa stopped again. Good day, Sister Porcupine, he said to the black and white ball of spikes sunning herself in the middle of the trail. Zimani, let's give Porcupine lots of room as we walk by. She's got long, sharp quills, and I've got big, tender feet. Porcupine moved off the trail, her spines clacking and rustling as she ambled along. Sister Porcupine, asked Zimani, could I have one of your quills to tap on my drum? All right, let me shake one off. She wiggled and shimmied. Chaka, chaka. A long quill fell off her back, and Chikangwa handed it to Zimani. Thank you, Sister Porcupine. Good journeys to you. Zimani laid the black and white striped spine across his drum and flicked it. Ta-sta, ta-ta-ta-ta-sta. Birds sang as the brothers left the forest and entered a dry riverbed. Ta-wee, tit-tit-tit-tit. Zimani's and Chikangwa's fingers drummed like birds singing. Ta-wee, tit-tit-tit-tit. Lion roared in the distance. The brothers' fingers were stiff with fear as they tried to roar with their drums. Roo, roo, roo. Can't roar like lion, said Zimani sadly. They stilled their drums and listened for lion as they walked. The dried mud cracked under their dusty feet. Its parched brittleness reminded Zimani of the time he touched one of the elephant bones littering the riverbed. His brother took him by the hands, placing Zimani's palms on something cool and smooth, an ivory tusk. Zimani ran his fingers along its length. It was almost as long as his younger brother was tall. Zimani pressed his ear against it. He sensed an old elephant's slow steps, the elephant dead now, but the rhythm still alive in the tusk. Rumbo-ta-rum. The boys lifted the long tusk on their shoulders and hiked out of the riverbed. Rumbo-ta-rum. There are fresh lion tracks here, Chikungwa said, picking up the pace. Soon the brothers passed over a grassy ridge. They heard the high, clear, sweet sound of girls singing from a lone hut in the valley below. Forgetting about Lion for a moment, they stopped and listened to the soaring voices. Nyegoma ikilara imtengwa choinjoli. When the drum sounds, the choinjoli drum brings the spirit. Barum, ba-brum, brum, brum. The song was broken by the deafening roar of Lion close by. The brothers ran, stumbling and breathless, to the thatched hut of the singers. The door swung inward. "Hurry, come in," said a young girl, helping the brothers inside. "Lion's been circling the house for 2 days. We were hoping warriors would hear us, but we're both too young to carry spears, and I'll never be a warrior," Zimani said evenly. "I'll never be allowed to be a warrior either," said the girl softly, grasping Zimani's hand and leading him to a chair. "I'm Mvudzi, and this is my big sister, Nyango. We're Zimani and Chikungwa of Malom village. We're on our way to Lake Nyasa to drum," explained Zimani. "I am Makongo," snarled the lion, scratching at the cane door. "Go away, we are not afraid of you," said Zimani, trying to sound calm. He could hear the door rattling. "Everyone fears me," Makongo growled, scratching his head. "I'm so fierce that when you see the size of the flea that lives in my mane, you'll even be scared of it. But I'm so brave, I've barely noticed it." He scratched the biggest of the fleas that had been biting him all day and flicked it under the door. Zimani was unimpressed to hear this flea scuttle across the floor. "That little nit?" he scoffed, pretending to see it. "Wait until you see the bug that's been on me. My skin is so rough that the pest broke its teeth when it tried to bite me." He whispered to Tortoise, "Friend, lions don't eat you, and you look like a beetle. Do you think you can fool him?" Tortoise crawled out of the hut. Wide-eyed, Makongo went into an itching fit when he saw the tortoise bug. As he scratched, he pulled a long strand of hair from his mane. He checked its length and toughness. "One hair from my mighty mane's stronger than the sturdiest vine," he boasted, poking the hair under the door. "Look at it and shake with fear." Zimani wasn't scared to hear the gentle scritch-scritch sound as a strand was pushed into the hut. "Fine as baby hair," he said with a laugh. "Now let me show you a strong strand of hair." He pushed the porcupine quill outside. "You see my hair?" he asked, nearly believing himself. Makongo backed up, gasping at the enormous size and sharpness of the strand. "I'll show you," he yelled, charging the door and clawing a hole in the canes. "I'm famous for my claws. Look how long and sharp they are." Zimani slid the elephant's tusk through the hole the lion had made, saying, "Here's a trimming from the nail on my little finger." Makongo threw his head back and roared, "Roar! Roar!" That terrible sound shook the hut, nearly tearing the door off its hinges. Zimani grabbed his drum, beating it with the fury of a warrior. "Roo-ra-roo-roo-roo! Roo-roo-ro-roo-roo! Roo-ro-roo!" Chikungwa grabbed his drum. The brothers pounded the sound of thunder. Crrr-crrrich-crack! The sisters clapped, stomped, and sang with the mighty drums. The noise so loud it shook the skies. "Ah-wee-ka-crack!" Terrified, Makungo ran away from the sound. He ran over the first hill and then the next. He ran farther and farther, but the mighty drumming still pounded in his ears. He ran over the mountains. He swam through rivers. He went so far he never returned to that part of the world. Zimani and Chikungwa drummed the sound of celebration. Ta-tutsa ba-brum ba-bra. The sisters sang and stomped the dance of joy. A-lu-lu-lu ta-brum-ti-brum. Celebration and joy echoed around them and in them and never sank into silence.